Welcome back to Hogback Observatory in Gallup, New Mexico. This is a series of videos to demonstrate how to assemble a PureTech Telestation Observatory. Okay, so this video we're going to go over setting up your control box and your sensors. You've already got your motors in, and what I did is on either side wall, there's a couple rails that come there. This one came out of the crate designating this side as the side where the control box was going to go. And the reason that was designated that is these plates were already in place. These aluminum plates behind the sensor were already in place. So obviously you want your control box on the same wall as where those plates are so that you have enough cabling to reach your control box, okay? So that will be marked when you get it out of your crate, and I showed that in an earlier video. And of course this here to hold the sensors for where the roof closes at. So you'll mount this box here. It's very simple. It comes with a little plastic baggie that's got these connectors in there. On the back, this just screws into the back in four places, and then with the button bolts and the slide-in nuts behind there, then you connect it into these two rails, and that holds your box on the wall. On the box, coming out of it will be your power cord. And then underneath, as you can see here, let me get down so you can see this. It is going to list your input. And it lists here roof motor 1, roof motor 2. So from the motor 1, I came, brought it down, and these are just the right size where you can just easily press them into this rail. I'll usually come right back out as well if you want to move it, but for now I just kind of tucked it into the rail so you don't have cables laying all over the floor. So I just followed the rails around, just tucked it into that rail, then came down here and then up. Plug in motor 1, roof motor 2. Again, you might only have one motor if the roof is a single solid roof instead of a split like mine. Or you might have two. Did the same thing, just ran it through the little rails here, brought it down, tucked it in there, looped it on the bottom, brought it up, plugged it in motor 2. Very simple, very easy. Lines right up, little screws there to hold it tight. You're good for your motors. Now, as I mentioned, on the walls, it already had the plates for these. You notice this one said roof 1 open. And with mine, it came with 4 sensors. 2 split roofs, so 2 sections of roof. 1 sensor for opening to stop the opening, 1 to stop the closing. So 4 sensors, 2 on each side of the roof. And it was marked on the plate, roof 1 open. You can see it was marked on the actual sensor, roof 1 open. There's holes drilled and threaded in that little plate. Take the 2 screws, screw it right in there. In the center, same thing. This was also marked the same way, roof 1 closed. Written on this piece behind there said roof 1 closed. This said roof 2 closed. There's roof 2 closed. So you know exactly where to put these, and they've already set them, Vito set them at the factory. Roof 2 open, roof 2 open, okay? Then once you set those, do the same thing. I ran the cable into the rails, do it however works right for you. Brought it over, and then on the side of the box, it's all marked here. roof 1 open, roof 1 closed, roof 2 open, roof 2 closed. So you brought it over. It's also marked right on here. Roof 1 open, roof 1 closed, roof 2 open, roof 2 closed. So you just do that, set these in place, run the cabling. It's all connected, so then you run the cabling over. You know, this one is a little extra, so I just kind of looped it around so it wouldn't be in the way. Brought it over and just plugged them into where it says. Very easy, very simple. Only plugs in one way. If I can get closer to that to show you. Okay. Plugs in just like that. Right in where it says. Just match the cable with the location that tells you to plug it in. Okay? Simple and easy, and those are in. And then, these are made so you can adjust them so you can get the roof as tight as you want. I mean, don't go crazy, but you know, you can get this to open halfway if you want, get it to open most of the way. Obviously, you don't want to go all the way off and, you know, have too much cantilever where it's hanging over the edge and binding up. So these were preset at the factory, though you can make adjustments of where the opening and the closing should be, okay? If you want it to open a tad more, you just loosen these, slide that, okay? And then bolt it back tight so that when this rail, you can see these are the targets that are already set there at the factory. That side and this side, okay? So when this roof opens, this whole thing slides, you know, and this slides along with that rail, obviously, because it's bolted into it, comes down, and then that target, that metal piece will come over, it'll hit this, and right there, hear that switch? That sends the signal back to the control box that tells the motor to turn off. Okay, when it's going to close, it comes back this way. You can see the other target that's on here, then trips that, click, tells the motor to turn off. Stop, don't close anymore, okay? One way that you do this switch, you come in, this is the on and off. Okay, right now I have it in the off position, which you can see two ways. Number one, says right there, off. I have this plugged in right now. Actually, I do not, so good. Okay, if you turn it this way, see how it says on? There it's off. Also has an indicator up here. Shows you 0 for off, 1 for on. Okay? You have your motor, you have your cord plugged in. That's going to supply power to the box. Turn it on. It energizes the circuitry in here. This is already done for you. Get this thing to open up here. There we go. So this is all your circuitry inside. Mine is just a very simple one. It doesn't have the digital panel. They have the fancy one where if you got it where you can set it up, where it'll open your roof, pop your telescope up, all kinds of crazy stuff they'll do. Mine is just a very simple open and close the roof with the switches when I throw them. Okay, that's inside there. It's already all pre-wired, all done. You don't have to mess with anything inside the box. Ow, pinch my finger there. Trying to hold the camera and do all this at the same time. Okay, so that's all closed up. It's plugged in, supplies power to the box itself. When you flip that to on, it energizes all your circuitry. And then here is where you control your opening of the roof. So basically you come in, turn your power on so it energizes the circuits. And then if you want to open roof 1 this side, and this is a momentary switch. Again, I'm not plugged in, so I won't do anything on that, but I'll show you. This just goes like that, okay? That'll start it opening. The circuitry in there tells that motor start and turn in a certain direction, the direction that'll open this roof. Our roof will start opening until that metal target piece comes up. Hear that? Trips that. And this tells the circuitry, shut the motor off. Okay? Then that motor cuts off the power of that motor and your roof is open. You want to close that, then you just come here and go like that. The roof will start to move. We'll come over until this target, this piece of metal called the target, then engages this switch. Okay? And this tells the control box, cut power to your motor. Motor shuts off, roof is closed. Same for the other side. Open, open. That will open till it hits that sensor, switches off power, shuts your motor down. Want to close it, tells the motor to start, turn in the other direction, pushes this closed until your target trips that switch, tells the box, shut your motor off. Pretty simple. And then you just go ahead and turn this back off. If you're done for the night, your viewing session, whatever, roof is closed, everything's good. Okay? Pretty simple. Setting up, this is probably was the easiest part of everything. Very easy, small stuff, very easy to route your cables. You know exactly where you need to put them. It's all listed. The only thing is later you might want to adjust these if you think, my roof isn't closed quite tight enough or it's too tight. You just move those over a little bit, in or out, depending on where you want the roof to stop when it closes or where you want it to stop when it opens. Not much to that, very simple, very easy, just follow your labeling. Everything's labeled for exactly where it needs to go. Simple and easy, okay? And that pretty much wraps it up. I'll do one last video. I said at the start of this I would then go back over the whole process of this as far as giving my opinions, what was good, what was bad, what I thought of the observatory as a whole, being honest, tell you the good, bad, and ugly of all of it. Obviously, I have not used it with my telescope yet or anything, and I will still have to go and actually open and close the roofs, get that all tweaked and, adjusted just right. Again, I won't be doing that for another day or two because I have some weather that's been here last couple of days, so until tomorrow or the next day when it's kind of blown through here and I don't have any wind going, then I'll go ahead and make those adjustments on the roof so it's just right. So other than that, I'll be ready to do the last video in this series of my pros and cons and opinions, and go from there. Any comments you want to make or any questions anybody wants to ask, whether here on Facebook, or I'm sorry, not Facebook, YouTube where the videos are, or on Cloudy Nights, where I've also got the link for this and everything in the forums under the Cloudy Nights is the website, and then in the forums in Cloudy Nights under the section of equipment, there's then a sub section for observatories, and in there I have a thread posted for this whole build where you can ask any questions or any input. Other owners of PureTech, if you have anything you want to add or subtract to all of this, or any of your own opinions, any tips and tricks, all that kind of stuff, feel free. I'm sure Vito, who is the owner of PureTech Incorporated that builds these, is a member on Cloudy Nights, so I'm sure he will come in there and give his input and maybe answer any questions, whatever. So that's where this will all be found. Okay, one more video after this on the pros and cons.